In the 1960s and 70s, our grandmothers knew how to make Christmas side dishes. Their work in the kitchen didn't just fill the table, it created dishes so special they turned canned vegetables and Jell-O into celebrations that have been lost to time.
And then he said he couldn't believe it.
Well, this certainly is a meal to remember. To the chef.
These 25 forgotten Christmas side dishes from the 1960s and 70s might sound too strange today, but they carried families through the holidays, filling every plate. Let's rediscover forgotten Christmas side dishes from the 1960s and 70s that have disappeared. Walk into Grandma Ruth's Dallas kitchen in December 1968. She's mixing lime Jell-O with cottage cheese for Christmas dinner. She dissolved lime Jell-O powder in hot water and let it cool. Then she folded in cottage cheese and canned pineapple chunks and let it set in a mold overnight. The next day, she unmolded it onto a plate. It wobbled. It was bright green. It had white lumps of cottage cheese suspended in the green gelatin. It tasted like lime and pineapple mixed with tangy cottage cheese. The texture was creamy and jiggly. It cost about 40 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The Jell-O cost 10 cents, and the cottage cheese cost 25 cents, and the pineapple cost 15 cents. Lime Jell-O salad with cottage cheese was a 1960s classic that appeared on every holiday table. The lime and pineapple combination was tropical and refreshing. The cottage cheese added protein and creaminess. Grandma Ruth served it every Christmas from 1965 until 1979. She molded it in a ring mold so it looked fancy. Walk into Grandma Betty's Atlanta kitchen in December 1971. She's making candied yams with marshmallows for Christmas dinner. She boiled sweet potatoes until tender and sliced them into rounds. She layered them in a casserole dish with brown sugar and butter and cinnamon. She baked them until bubbly. Then she covered the top with mini marshmallows and put it back in the oven until the marshmallows turned golden brown and melted. The dish came out sweet and sticky and covered in toasted marshmallow. It tasted like sweet potato pie mixed with s'mores. The yams were soft. The marshmallows were gooey. It cost about 60 cents to make, and it fed 10 people. The sweet potatoes cost 30 cents, and the marshmallows cost 20 cents, and the brown sugar cost 10 cents. Walk into Grandma Helen's Portland kitchen in December 1969. She's making frozen cranberry salad for Christmas dinner. She mixed crushed pineapple with whole berry cranberry sauce and chopped walnuts and mini marshmallows. Then she folded in whipped cream. She poured the mixture into a loaf pan and froze it overnight. The next day she sliced it into thick slices and served it on lettuce leaves. It tasted like cranberry sauce mixed with whipped cream and pineapple. It was cold and creamy and tangy and sweet. The walnuts added crunch. It cost about 70 cents to make, and it fed 12 people. Walk into Grandma Dorothy's Indianapolis kitchen in December 1973. She's making scalloped corn casserole for Christmas dinner. She mixed canned cream-style corn with canned whole kernel corn and sour cream and beaten eggs. She poured it into a casserole dish and topped it with crushed Ritz crackers and melted butter. She baked it until golden and bubbly. It came out creamy and rich and crunchy on top. It tasted like corn pudding mixed with buttery crackers. The texture was smooth and custard-like underneath and crispy on top. Walk into Grandma Alice's Boston kitchen in December 1970. She's making Waldorf salad for Christmas dinner. She chopped crisp apples and celery into small pieces. She added chopped walnuts and raisins. She mixed it all with mayonnaise until everything was coated. She served it on lettuce leaves in a bowl. It tasted like crunchy apples mixed with tangy mayonnaise and sweet raisins. The celery added crunch. The walnuts added richness. The combination of fruit and vegetables and nuts was unusual and elegant. The mayonnaise made it creamy. Grandma Alice served it every Christmas from 1967 until 1981. She used red delicious apples because they were the fanciest. It disappeared because mayonnaise-based salads became gross by the 1990s. People stopped trusting mayonnaise. The combination of apples and mayo seemed wrong. The dish became old-fashioned. The bowl stayed empty. And Christmas lost its crunchy salad. 5 side dishes down and 45 more to go. Your grandmother served these dishes because they were practical and affordable, and everyone liked them. They used canned vegetables and Jell-O and mayonnaise because those were modern ingredients. They made her feel like a modern housewife. Then we decided modern was embarrassing. Walk into Grandma Pearl's Philadelphia kitchen in December 1972. She's making creamed pearl onions for Christmas dinner. She boiled small white pearl onions until tender and drained them. She made a white sauce with butter and flour and milk. She poured the white sauce over the onions and stirred until everything was coated and creamy. She served it hot in a bowl. It tasted like mild, sweet onions covered in rich cream sauce. The onions were tender, and the sauce was smooth and buttery. It cost about 50 cents to make, and it fed 6 people. The onions cost 30 cents, and the milk cost 10 cents, and the butter cost 10 cents. Creamed pearl onions was a fancy side dish that made Christmas dinner feel elegant. Pearl onions were smaller and sweeter than regular onions. The white sauce made them luxurious. The dish looked sophisticated and French. Grandma Pearl served it every Christmas from 1969 until 1980. She used fresh pearl onions, not frozen. Walk into Grandma Ruth's Houston kitchen in December 1974. She's making broccoli rice casserole for Christmas dinner. She cooked white rice and mixed it with frozen chopped broccoli and condensed cream of mushroom soup and shredded cheddar cheese. She poured it into a casserole dish and topped it with more cheese. She baked it until bubbly and golden. It came out creamy and cheesy with bits of broccoli throughout. It tasted like cheese soup with rice and broccoli. The texture was soft and comforting. It cost about 60 cents to make, and it fed 10 people. The rice cost 15 cents, and the broccoli cost 25 cents, and the soup cost 12 cents. Broccoli rice casserole was a 1970s invention that combined vegetables and starch in one dish. The cream of mushroom soup made everything creamy without making a sauce from scratch. The cheese made it delicious. Kids ate broccoli when it was covered in cheese. Grandma Ruth served it every Christmas from 1971 until 1985. She used extra cheese on top. Walk into Grandma Betty's Denver kitchen in December 1969. She's making orange-glazed carrots for Christmas dinner. She boiled sliced carrots until tender. She drained them and put them back in the pot with butter and brown sugar and orange juice. She cooked them over low heat until the liquid turned into a shiny glaze that coated the carrots. They came out glossy and orange and sweet. They tasted like carrots mixed with orange candy. The glaze was sticky and sweet. It cost about 40 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The carrots cost 20 cents, and the orange juice cost 10 cents, and the brown sugar cost 10 cents. Orange glazed carrots was a simple side dish that made ordinary carrots special. The orange juice added brightness. The brown sugar added sweetness. The butter made everything glossy. The dish looked fancy and restaurant quality. Grandma Betty served it every Christmas from 1966 until 1979. She used fresh orange juice, not frozen. Walk into Grandma Helen's Miami kitchen in December 1971. She's making ambrosia salad for Christmas dinner. She mixed canned mandarin oranges with canned pineapple chunks and shredded coconut and mini marshmallows. She folded in sour cream. She chilled it overnight. The next day she served it cold in a crystal bowl. It tasted like tropical fruit mixed with coconut and sweet marshmallows. The sour cream made it tangy and creamy. It was cold and refreshing. It cost about 60 cents to make, and it fed 10 people. The oranges cost 20 cents, and the pineapple cost 20 cents, and the coconut cost 15 cents. Ambrosia salad was a Southern classic that appeared at every Christmas dinner. The name meant food of the gods. The combination of fruit and marshmallows and coconut was sweet and tropical. The sour cream kept it from being too sweet. Grandma Helen served it every Christmas from 1968 until 1982. She used good coconut. Walk into Grandma Dorothy's Chicago kitchen in December 1973. She's making buttered Brussels sprouts with bacon for Christmas dinner. She boiled fresh Brussels sprouts until tender and drained them. She fried bacon until crispy and crumbled it. She tossed the hot Brussels sprouts with butter and the crumbled bacon. She served it hot in a bowl. It tasted like buttery vegetables with salty, smoky bacon. The Brussels sprouts were soft. The bacon was crunchy. The butter made everything rich. It cost about 70 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The Brussels sprouts cost 35 cents, and the bacon cost 30 cents, and the butter cost 5 cents. Buttered Brussels sprouts with bacon was a way to make kids eat Brussels sprouts. Nobody liked Brussels sprouts, but everyone liked bacon. Adding bacon made everything better. The butter made them rich and glossy. Grandma Dorothy served it every Christmas from 1970 until 1984. She used lots of bacon, 10 side dishes down and 40 more to go. These dishes weren't fancy or complicated. They were simple vegetables and fruits mixed with cream and sugar and gelatin. They made your grandmother's Christmas table colorful and full. Then we decided colorful and full was tacky. We wanted minimal and beige instead. Walk into Grandma Ruth's Memphis kitchen in December 1970. She's making sweet potato soufflé for Christmas dinner. She mashed cooked sweet potatoes with butter and brown sugar and beaten eggs and vanilla extract. She whipped it until fluffy. She poured it into a casserole dish and topped it with a mixture of crushed cornflakes and brown sugar and melted butter. She baked it until puffed and golden. It came out light and airy, with a crunchy, sweet topping. It tasted like sweet potato pie crossed with breakfast cereal. The inside was soft and fluffy. The topping was crunchy and caramelized. It cost about 65 cents to make, and it fed 10 people. The sweet potatoes cost 30 cents, and the cornflakes cost 20 cents, and the eggs cost 10 cents. Sweet potato soufflé was the fancy version of candied yams. The whipped eggs made it light like a soufflé. The cornflake topping made it special. It was sweeter than regular sweet potatoes, but lighter than pie. Grandma Ruth served it every Christmas from 1967 until 1983. She whipped it by hand. Walk into Grandma Alice's Milwaukee kitchen in December 1972. She's making perfection salad for Christmas dinner. She dissolved lemon jello in hot water and added vinegar. She let it cool until it was syrupy. Then she stirred in shredded cabbage and diced celery and shredded carrots. She poured it into a mold and chilled it overnight. The next day, she unmolded it onto lettuce leaves. It wobbled. It was pale yellow with vegetables suspended inside. It tasted like lemon gelatin mixed with coleslaw. The vinegar made it tangy, not sweet. It cost about 45 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The jello cost 10 cents, and the cabbage cost 15 cents, and the vegetables cost 15 cents. Perfection salad was a famous recipe from the 1920s that became popular again in the 1960s. The combination of gelatin and vegetables and vinegar was savory, not sweet. It was like coleslaw held together with jello. The name implied it was perfect. Grandma Alice served it every Christmas from 1969 until 1978. She used a fancy mold. Walk into Grandma Betty's Seattle kitchen in December 1974. She's making glazed acorn squash for Christmas dinner. She cut acorn squash in half and scooped out the seeds. She placed the halves cut side down in a baking pan with water. She baked them until tender. Then she flipped them over and filled each cavity with butter and brown sugar and cinnamon. She baked them again until the butter and sugar melted into a glaze. They came out soft and sweet and glossy. They tasted like butterscotch mixed with squash. The flesh was tender and the glaze was sticky. It cost about 50 cents to make, and it fed 4 people. The squash cost 30 cents, and the brown sugar cost 10 cents, and the butter cost 10 cents. Glazed acorn squash was a beautiful side dish that looked impressive on the table. The dark green skin with orange flesh looked like autumn. The glaze in the cavity looked fancy. It was sweet and elegant. Grandma Betty served it every Christmas from 1971 until 1982. She used real butter. Walk into Grandma Helen's Richmond kitchen in December 1969. She's making succotash for Christmas dinner. She cooked frozen lima beans and frozen corn kernels together in a pot with butter and cream. She seasoned it with salt and pepper. She served it hot in a bowl. It tasted like sweet corn mixed with buttery lima beans and cream. The lima beans were soft and starchy. The corn was sweet and crunchy. The cream made it rich. It cost about 40 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The lima beans cost 20 cents, and the corn cost 15 cents, and the cream cost 5 cents. Succotash was a Native American dish that became a Southern staple. The combination of lima beans and corn was traditional and historical. Adding cream made it Christmas appropriate. It was colorful with yellow corn and green lima beans. Grandma Helen served it every Christmas from 1966 until 1980. She used frozen vegetables. It disappeared because lima beans became hated by the 1985. Nobody liked lima beans anymore. Kids refused to eat them. Adults remembered being forced to eat them. The lima bean became the enemy. The dish died, the bowl stayed empty, and Christmas lost its succotash. Walk into Grandma Dorothy's Boston kitchen in December 1971. She's making Harvard beets for Christmas dinner. She opened a can of sliced beets and drained them but saved the liquid. She made a sauce with the beet liquid and sugar and vinegar and cornstarch. She cooked it until thick and shiny. She poured the sauce over the beets and heated them together. They came out glossy and tangy sweet. They tasted like pickled beets in sweet and sour sauce. The color was deep magenta. It cost about 30 cents to make, and it fed 6 people. The beets cost 20 cents, and the sugar cost 5 cents, and the vinegar cost 5 cents. Harvard beets was a classic New England dish that was named after the deep crimson color of Harvard University. The sweet and sour sauce balanced the earthy beets. The glossy coating made them look fancy. They were bright and colorful on the plate. Grandma Dorothy served them every Christmas from 1968 until 1979. She used canned beets, 15 side dishes down, and 35 more to go. Your grandmother served vegetables covered in butter and cream and sugar because that's how you made vegetables special. Plain vegetables were for every day. Christmas vegetables needed decoration. Then we decided butter and cream were unhealthy. We boiled everything plain instead. Walk into Grandma Ruth's Columbus kitchen in December 1973. She's making 7-layer salad for Christmas dinner. She layered iceberg lettuce and frozen peas and diced celery and chopped hard-boiled eggs and crumbled bacon and shredded cheddar cheese in a clear glass bowl. Then she spread mayonnaise over the top like frosting. She covered it and refrigerated it overnight. The next day, the mayonnaise had sealed everything and made the layers stick together. It tasted like chef's salad held together with mayonnaise. The layers were distinct and colorful. It cost about 80 cents to make, and it fed 12 people. The lettuce cost 15 cents, and the bacon cost 30 cents, and the cheese cost 20 cents. 7-layer salad was a 1970s phenomenon that looked impressive in a glass bowl. You could see all 7 layers through the sides. The mayonnaise on top kept everything fresh overnight. It was practical and beautiful. Grandma Ruth served it every Christmas from 1970 until 1984. She counted the layers carefully. Walk into Grandma Betty's Minnesota kitchen in December 1970. She's making rutabaga mash for Christmas dinner. She peeled and cubed rutabagas and boiled them with potatoes until tender. She drained them and mashed them together with butter and cream and salt and pepper. She served it hot in a bowl. It tasted like sweet, earthy mashed potatoes with a slightly bitter edge. The rutabaga added complexity. The butter made it rich. The cream made it smooth. It cost about 45 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The rutabaga cost 20 cents, and the potatoes cost 15 cents, and the butter cost 10 cents. Rutabaga mash was a Scandinavian tradition that appeared on Minnesota Christmas tables. Rutabaga was a winter root vegetable that stored well. Mixing it with potatoes made it milder and creamier. It was golden orange instead of white. Grandma Betty served it every Christmas from 1967 until 1981. She used equal parts rutabaga and potato. Walk into Grandma Helen's New York kitchen in December 1972. She's making spinach soufflé for Christmas dinner. She cooked frozen chopped spinach and squeezed out all the water. She mixed it with beaten eggs and grated Parmesan cheese and nutmeg. She poured it into a greased casserole dish. She baked it until puffed and golden. It came out light and airy like a soufflé should be. It tasted like cheesy spinach clouds. The spinach flavor was mild. The cheese was strong. The eggs made it fluffy. It cost about 55 cents to make, and it fed 6 people. The spinach cost 25 cents, and the eggs cost 15 cents, and the cheese cost 10 cents. Spinach soufflé was an elegant French-inspired side dish that made frozen spinach fancy. The eggs made it rise and puff. The Parmesan made it sophisticated. It looked impressive coming out of the oven, all puffed up. Grandma Helen served it every Christmas from 1969 until 1980. She used good Parmesan. Walk into Grandma Dorothy's Detroit kitchen in December 1974. She's making spiced crab apples for Christmas dinner. She opened a jar of whole crab apples in syrup. She drained them and heated them with cinnamon sticks and whole cloves and brown sugar. She served them hot in a bowl as a side dish. They tasted like sweet and sour apples with spice. The crab apples were tiny and whole. The syrup was thick and spicy. They were tangy and sweet. It cost about 50 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The crab apples cost 40 cents, and the spices cost 5 cents, and the sugar cost 5 cents. Spiced crab apples was an old-fashioned side dish that dated back to colonial times. Crab apples were too sour to eat raw, but pickling them in syrup made them delicious. They were bright red and looked festive on the table. They were fruit and vegetable and condiment all together. Grandma Dorothy served them every Christmas from 1971 until 1982. She used whole spices. Walk into Grandma Ruth's Philadelphia kitchen in December 1969. She's making creamed peas and mushrooms for Christmas dinner. She boiled frozen peas until tender. She sautéed sliced mushrooms in butter. She made a white sauce with butter and flour and milk. She mixed the peas and mushrooms into the sauce. She served it hot in a bowl. It tasted like peas and mushrooms in rich cream sauce. The peas were sweet. The mushrooms were earthy. The sauce was smooth and buttery. It cost about 60 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The peas cost 20 cents, and the mushrooms cost 30 cents, and the milk cost 10 cents. Creamed peas and mushrooms was a fancy combination that made ordinary vegetables elegant. The white sauce made everything luxurious. The mushrooms made it sophisticated. It looked restaurant quality. It tasted French. Grandma Ruth served it every Christmas from 1966 until 1980. She used fresh mushrooms not canned, 20 side dishes down, and 30 more to go. These dishes weren't health food, they were celebration food. Your grandmother added cream and butter and sugar because Christmas wasn't about dieting. Christmas was about abundance. Then we became afraid of fat. We steamed everything, and Christmas became boring and virtuous. Walk into Grandma Betty's Kentucky kitchen in December 1971. She's making corn pudding for Christmas dinner. She mixed canned cream-style corn with beaten eggs and milk and sugar and melted butter. She poured it into a buttered baking dish. She baked it until set like custard. It came out golden and smooth and slightly sweet. It tasted like corn-flavored custard. The texture was creamy and soft. The top was lightly browned. It cost about 50 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The corn cost 30 cents, and the eggs cost 10 cents, and the milk cost 10 cents. Corn pudding was a Southern classic that appeared at every holiday table. It was halfway between a vegetable and a dessert. Walk into Grandma Helen's Cincinnati kitchen in December 1973. She's making baked macaroni and cheese for Christmas dinner. She cooked elbow macaroni until tender and drained it. She made a cheese sauce with butter and flour and milk and shredded cheddar cheese. She mixed the macaroni with the cheese sauce. She poured it into a casserole dish and topped it with breadcrumbs and more cheese. She baked it until golden and bubbly. It came out creamy inside with a crunchy top. It tasted like the best mac and cheese ever. The cheese was real. The breadcrumbs were buttery. It cost about 60 cents to make, and it fed 10 people. The macaroni cost 15 cents, and the cheese cost 35 cents, and the breadcrumbs cost 10 cents. Baked macaroni and cheese was the ultimate comfort food side dish. It was rich and creamy, and everyone loved it. Kids ate it happily. Adults ate seconds. The homemade cheese sauce was better than boxed. The baked top added texture. Grandma Helen served it every Christmas from 1970 until 1985. She used sharp cheddar. Walk into Grandma Dorothy's Portland kitchen in December 1970. She's making jellied cranberry sauce with celery for Christmas dinner. She dissolved cherry jello in hot cranberry juice. She let it cool until syrupy. She stirred in whole berry cranberry sauce and diced celery. She poured it into a mold and chilled it overnight. The next day she unmolded it onto a plate. It wobbled. It was dark red with celery pieces throughout. It tasted like cranberry sauce mixed with gelatin and crunchy celery. It was sweet and tangy with unexpected crunch. It cost about 50 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The Jell-O cost 10 cents, and the cranberry sauce cost 25 cents, and the celery cost 10 cents. Jellied cranberry sauce was a way to make canned cranberry sauce fancy. Adding Jell-O made it moldable. Adding celery made it interesting. The combination was strange, but somehow worked. Grandma Dorothy served it every Christmas from 1967 until 1979. She used a ring mold. Walk into Grandma Ruth's Cleveland kitchen in December 1972. She's making pickled beets with onions for Christmas dinner. She opened a can of sliced beets and drained them. She sliced a white onion into thin rings. She mixed the beets and onions with vinegar and sugar and salt. She refrigerated it overnight. The next day the beets and onions had pickled together. They tasted tangy and sweet and sharp. The beets were earthy. The onions were crisp. The vinegar made everything bright. It cost about 35 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The beets cost 20 cents, and the onion cost 10 cents, and the vinegar cost 5 cents. Pickled beets with onions was a Pennsylvania Dutch tradition that appeared on many Christmas tables. The sweet and sour flavor cut through rich Christmas food. The onions added bite. The bright magenta color was festive. Grandma Ruth served it every Christmas from 1969 until 1981. She let it pickle overnight. Walk into Grandma Betty's Nova Scotia home in December 1974. She's making mashed turnips with butter for Christmas dinner. She peeled and cubed turnips and boiled them until tender. She drained them and mashed them with lots of butter and salt and pepper. She served it hot in a bowl. It tasted like sweet, earthy mashed vegetables. The turnips were slightly bitter. The butter made them rich. The texture was smooth like mashed potatoes, but lighter. It cost about 40 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The turnips cost 25 cents and the butter cost 15 cents. Mashed turnips was a Canadian maritime tradition that appeared at Christmas dinner. Turnips were winter vegetables that stored well. Mashing them made them palatable. The butter made them delicious. They were bright yellow-orange. Grandma Betty served them every Christmas from 1971 until 1983. She used lots of butter. 25 side dishes down and 25 more to go. Halfway through, and every dish used vegetables your grandmother could afford. Canned corn, frozen peas, fresh root vegetables. She made them special with butter and cream and gelatin. Then we decided canned and frozen were shameful. We wanted everything organic and fresh. Walk into Grandma Helen's Boston kitchen in December 1969. She's making creamed spinach for Christmas dinner. She cooked frozen chopped spinach and squeezed out all the water. She made a cream sauce with butter and flour and heavy cream. She mixed the spinach into the sauce and seasoned it with nutmeg and salt. She served it hot in a bowl. It tasted like rich, creamy spinach with a hint of nutmeg. The spinach was tender. The sauce was thick and luxurious. It cost about 50 cents to make, and it fed 6 people. The spinach cost 25 cents, and the cream cost 15 cents, and the butter cost 10 cents. Creamed spinach was a steakhouse side dish that appeared at fancy Christmas dinners. The cream sauce made spinach decadent. The nutmeg added sophistication. It was dark green and smooth and elegant. Grandma Helen served it every Christmas from 1966 until 1980. She used real cream, not milk. Walk into Grandma Dorothy's Milwaukee kitchen in December 1971. She's making baked acorn squash with sausage stuffing for Christmas dinner. She cut acorn squash in half and scooped out the seeds. She filled the cavities with cooked crumbled sausage mixed with breadcrumbs and onions and sage. She baked them until the squash was tender and the stuffing was golden. They came out looking like little boats filled with savory stuffing. They tasted like Thanksgiving dressing inside sweet squash. The squash was soft and slightly sweet. The sausage was savory and herby. It cost about 80 cents to make, and it fed 4 people. The squash cost 30 cents, and the sausage cost 40 cents, and the breadcrumbs cost 10 cents. Baked acorn squash with sausage stuffing was a fancy presentation that looked impressive on the table. Each person got their own squash half. The stuffing turned it into a complete side dish. It was elegant and individual. Grandma Dorothy served it every Christmas from 1968 until 1982. She used good sausage. Walk into Grandma Ruth's Sacramento kitchen in December 1973. She's making green bean salad for Christmas dinner. She drained canned whole green beans and mixed them with diced tomatoes and chopped onions. She made a dressing with vegetable oil and vinegar and sugar and Italian seasoning. She poured the dressing over the vegetables and refrigerated it overnight. The next day the beans had marinated and were tangy and flavorful. They tasted like Italian-dressed vegetables. The beans were tender. The tomatoes were juicy. The onions were sharp. It cost about 45 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The green beans cost 20 cents, and the tomatoes cost 15 cents, and the onion cost 5 cents. Green bean salad was a make-ahead side dish that saved oven space on Christmas Day. The marinating made the flavors deep. The Italian dressing made it zesty. It was colorful with green and red. Grandma Ruth served it every Christmas from 1970 until 1984. She made it the day before. Walk into Grandma Betty's San Francisco kitchen in December 1974. She's making Parmesan roasted cauliflower for Christmas dinner. She broke a head of cauliflower into florets and tossed them with olive oil and salt. She spread them on a baking sheet and roasted them until golden and tender. Then she sprinkled them with grated Parmesan cheese and put them back in the oven until the cheese melted. They came out crispy and cheesy and slightly charred. They tasted like roasted vegetables with nutty cheese. The cauliflower was caramelized. The Parmesan was salty. It cost about 55 cents to make, and it fed 6 people. The cauliflower cost 30 cents, and the cheese cost 20 cents, and the oil cost 5 cents. Parmesan roasted cauliflower was ahead of its time in the 1970s. Most people boiled cauliflower until it was mushy. Roasting it was unusual. The Parmesan made it sophisticated. It was crispy, not soggy. Grandma Betty served it every Christmas from 1971 until 1983. She used good olive oil. Walk into Grandma Helen's Atlanta kitchen in December 1970. She's making pineapple casserole for Christmas dinner. She mixed crushed pineapple with sugar and flour and shredded cheddar cheese. She poured it into a casserole dish and topped it with crushed Ritz crackers and melted butter. She baked it until golden and bubbly. It came out sweet and savory and crunchy on top. It tasted like pineapple upside-down cake mixed with cheese. The combination was strange, but delicious. The pineapple was sweet, the cheese was salty, the crackers were buttery. It cost about 60 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The pineapple cost 25 cents, and the cheese cost 20 cents. And the crackers cost 15 cents. Pineapple casserole was a Southern mystery that divided people. Some loved it, some hated it. Nobody understood it. The combination of fruit and cheese seemed wrong, but tasted right. It was sweet enough to be dessert, but savory enough to be a side dish. Grandma Helen served it every Christmas from 1967 until 1981. She used sharp cheddar, 30 side dishes down and 20 more to go. Your grandmother's Christmas table was crowded with mismatched bowls and casserole dishes filled with colorful sides. Some were sweet, some were savory, some were both. The variety was the point. Then we wanted curated minimalist tables. We served 3 sides, not 15. Walk into Grandma Ruth's Pittsburgh kitchen in December 1975. She's making scalloped potatoes with ham for Christmas dinner. She sliced potatoes thin and layered them in a casserole dish with diced leftover ham and chopped onions. She made a sauce with butter and flour and milk and poured it over the layers. She covered it with foil and baked it until the potatoes were tender. Then she uncovered it and baked it longer until golden and bubbly. It came out creamy and rich with salty ham throughout. It tasted like potato casserole with smoky meat. The potatoes were soft, the ham was salty, the sauce was thick. It cost about 70 cents to make, and it fed 10 people. The potatoes cost 25 cents, and the ham was leftover, and the milk cost 10 cents. Scalloped potatoes with ham was a way to use leftover Christmas ham. The potatoes stretched the meat. The sauce made everything creamy. It was a complete side dish with protein. Grandma Ruth served it every Christmas from 1972 until 1986. She used spiral sliced ham leftovers. Walk into Grandma Betty's Los Angeles kitchen in December 1973. She's making cherry tomato salad for Christmas dinner. She cut cherry tomatoes in half and mixed them with diced cucumber and sliced red onion. She made a dressing with olive oil and red wine vinegar and oregano and garlic powder. She poured the dressing over the vegetables and let it marinate for an hour. It tasted like fresh Italian salad. The tomatoes were sweet and juicy. The cucumber was crisp. The onion was sharp. The dressing was tangy and herby. It cost about 50 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The tomatoes cost 30 cents, and the cucumber cost 10 cents, and the onion cost 5 cents. Cherry tomato salad was a California side dish that brought fresh vegetables to the Christmas table. Most Christmas sides were cooked. This one was raw and refreshing. The bright red tomatoes looked festive. The fresh flavors cut through rich holiday food. Grandma Betty served it every Christmas from 1970 until 1984. She grew her own tomatoes. Walk into Grandma Helen's Hartford kitchen in December 1971. She's making creamed celery for Christmas dinner. She cut celery stalks into thick pieces and boiled them until tender. She drained them and made a white sauce with butter and flour and milk. She poured the sauce over the celery and heated it together. She served it hot in a bowl. It tasted like mild vegetables in rich cream sauce. The celery was soft and slightly sweet. The sauce was smooth and buttery. It cost about 45 cents to make, and it fed 6 people. The celery cost 20 cents, and the milk cost 10 cents, and the butter cost 10 cents. Creamed celery was an old-fashioned side dish that made ordinary celery special. The cream sauce made it luxurious. The tender celery was different from raw, crunchy celery. It was elegant and sophisticated. Grandma Helen served it every Christmas from 1968 until 1980. She used fresh celery hearts. Walk into Grandma Dorothy's Indianapolis kitchen in December 1972. She's making molded cucumber salad for Christmas dinner. She dissolved lime jello in hot water and let it cool until syrupy. She stirred in grated cucumber and grated onion and vinegar. She poured it into a mold and chilled it overnight. The next day she unmolded it onto lettuce leaves. It wobbled. It was pale green with cucumber shreds throughout. It tasted like pickle juice mixed with gelatin. The cucumber was crunchy. The onion was sharp. The vinegar made it tangy. It cost about 35 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The jello cost 10 cents, and the cucumber cost 15 cents, and the onion cost 5 cents. Molded cucumber salad was a savory jello salad that appeared at every 1960s holiday table. The cucumber made it refreshing. The vinegar made it tangy, not sweet. The green color matched Christmas. Grandma Dorothy served it every Christmas from 1969 until 1979. She used a fancy mold. Walk into Grandma Ruth's Tennessee kitchen in December 1974. She's making fried apples for Christmas dinner. She sliced apples thick and fried them in butter and brown sugar and cinnamon. She cooked them until the apples were soft and the sugar caramelized into a thick syrup. She served them hot in a bowl. They tasted like apple pie, filling without the crust. The apples were soft and sweet. The syrup was sticky and rich. The cinnamon was warm. It cost about 40 cents to make, and it fed 6 people. The apples cost 25 cents, and the brown sugar cost 10 cents, and the butter cost 5 cents. Fried apples was a southern side dish that appeared at Christmas breakfast and dinner. The sweet apples were somewhere between a side dish and a dessert. They were traditional and comforting. The butter and sugar made them special. Grandma Ruth served them every Christmas from 1971 until 1983. She used tart apples. 35 side dishes down and 15 more to go. These dishes were made from ordinary ingredients transformed into something special. Your grandmother took celery and cucumbers and apples and turned them into Christmas sides. Then we decided ordinary ingredients were boring. We wanted exotic vegetables nobody had heard of. Walk into Grandma Betty's main kitchen in December 1969. She's making baked beans with bacon for Christmas dinner. She opened cans of pork and beans and poured them into a casserole dish. She added brown sugar and molasses and dry mustard. She laid strips of bacon across the top. She baked it until the beans were bubbly and the bacon was crispy. It came out sweet and smoky and rich. It tasted like Boston-baked beans with extra bacon. The beans were soft. The sauce was thick. The bacon was crunchy. It cost about 60 cents to make, and it fed 10 people. The beans cost 40 cents, and the bacon cost 15 cents, and the molasses cost 5 cents. Baked beans with bacon was a New England tradition that appeared at Christmas dinner alongside ham. The sweet beans balanced the salty ham. The bacon on top made them fancy. They were hearty and filling. Grandma Betty served them every Christmas from 1966 until 1980. She used thick-cut bacon. Walk into Grandma Helen's Phoenix kitchen in December 1971. She's making carrot and raisin salad for Christmas dinner. She grated fresh carrots and mixed them with raisins and shredded coconut. She made a dressing with mayonnaise and sugar and lemon juice. She poured the dressing over the salad and stirred until everything was coated. She refrigerated it until cold. It tasted like sweet, crunchy carrots with chewy raisins. The coconut added texture. The mayo dressing was sweet and tangy. It cost about 50 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The carrots cost 15 cents, and the raisins cost 20 cents, and the coconut cost 10 cents. Carrot and raisin salad was a lunch counter classic that appeared at Christmas dinner. The combination was sweet and healthy. The carrots were raw and crunchy. The raisins added sweetness. Grandma Helen served it every Christmas from 1968 until 1982. She used fresh carrots, not pre-shredded. Walk into Grandma Dorothy's Chicago kitchen in December 1973. She's making mushroom rice pilaf for Christmas dinner. She sautéed sliced mushrooms and chopped onions in butter. Mushroom rice pilaf was an elegant side dish that made plain rice fancy. The mushrooms added flavor and sophistication. The chicken broth made it rich. It looked professional. Grandma Dorothy served it every Christmas from 1970 until 1984. She used fresh mushrooms. Walk into Grandma Ruth's Baltimore kitchen in December 1970. She's making deviled eggs for Christmas dinner. She hard-boiled a dozen eggs and peeled them. She cut them in half lengthwise and scooped out the yolks. She mashed the yolks with mayonnaise and yellow mustard and vinegar and salt. She piped the mixture back into the egg white halves. She sprinkled them with paprika. They looked fancy and colorful on a plate. They tasted like tangy, creamy eggs. The filling was smooth. The paprika added color and mild spice. It cost about 40 cents to make, and it made 24 halves. The eggs cost 35 cents, and the mayo cost 5 cents. Deviled eggs were a classic party food that appeared at Christmas dinner as a side dish. The piped filling looked elegant. The paprika made them Christmas appropriate. They were finger food and side dish together. Walk into Grandma Betty's Mississippi kitchen in December 1972. She's making butter bean casserole for Christmas dinner. She opened cans of butter beans and drained them. She mixed them with condensed cream of mushroom soup and crumbled bacon and shredded cheddar cheese. She poured it into a casserole dish and topped it with French fried onions. She baked it until hot and bubbly. It came out creamy and crunchy with bacon throughout. It tasted like green bean casserole, but with butter beans. The beans were soft. The soup made it creamy. The onions were crunchy. It cost about 65 cents to make, and it fed 10 people. The beans cost 30 cents, and the soup cost 12 cents, and the onions cost 15 cents. Butter bean casserole was the southern version of green bean casserole. The butter beans were larger and creamier than green beans. The bacon added smokiness. The French fried onions made it crunchy. Grandma Betty served it every Christmas from 1969 until 1983. She used canned beans. Walk into Grandma Helen's Milwaukee kitchen in December 1974. She's making celery seed coleslaw for Christmas dinner. She shredded green cabbage and carrots. She poured the dressing over the cabbage and stirred until everything was coated. She refrigerated it overnight so the cabbage wilted slightly and absorbed the dressing. It tasted like tangy, sweet coleslaw with celery seed flavor. The cabbage was crunchy. The dressing was creamy. The celery seed added unique flavor. It cost about 45 cents to make, and it fed 10 people. The cabbage cost 15 cents, and the carrots cost 10 cents, and the mayo cost 10 cents. Celery seed coleslaw was a make-ahead side dish that saved time on Christmas Day. The overnight marinating made it better. The celery seed made it different from regular coleslaw. It was crunchy and refreshing. Grandma Helen served it every Christmas from 1971 until 1985. She made it 2 days ahead. Walk into Grandma Dorothy's Honolulu home in December 1969. She's making baked pineapple rings for Christmas dinner. She drained canned pineapple rings and arranged them in a baking dish. She put a maraschino cherry in the center of each ring. She sprinkled them with brown sugar and dotted them with butter. She baked them until the sugar caramelized and the pineapple was hot. They came out glossy and sweet and sticky. They tasted like pineapple upside-down cake without the cake. It cost about 50 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The pineapple cost 30 cents, and the cherries cost 15 cents, and the sugar cost 5 cents. Baked pineapple rings was a Hawaiian-inspired side dish that brought tropical flavors to Christmas. The pineapple and cherries looked festive and colorful. The caramelized sugar made it special. It was sweet enough to be dessert, but served as a side. Grandma Dorothy served it every Christmas from 1966 until 1980. She used good pineapple. Walk into Grandma Ruth's Boston kitchen in December 1971. She's making creamed onions with peas for Christmas dinner. She boiled small white pearl onions until tender and drained them. She boiled frozen peas until tender and drained them. It tasted like mild vegetables in rich cream sauce. The onions were sweet. The peas were tender. The sauce was smooth and buttery. It cost about 60 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The onions cost 30 cents, and the peas cost 15 cents, and the milk cost 10 cents. Creamed onions with peas was a New England Christmas tradition. The pearl onions were fancy. The peas added color and sweetness. The white sauce made everything luxurious. It looked elegant on the table. Grandma Ruth served it every Christmas from 1968 until 1982. She used fresh pearl onions. Walk into Grandma Betty's Detroit kitchen in December 1973. She's making kidney bean salad for Christmas dinner. She drained canned dark red kidney beans and mixed them with diced celery and diced red onion and chopped hard-boiled eggs. She poured the dressing over the salad and stirred until everything was coated. She refrigerated it overnight. It tasted like tangy bean salad with crunchy vegetables. The beans were soft. The celery was crisp. The eggs added richness. It cost about 50 cents to make, and it fed 10 people. The beans cost 20 cents, and the eggs cost 15 cents, and the celery cost 10 cents. Kidney bean salad was a protein-rich side dish that made Christmas dinner more substantial. The beans were filling. The mayo dressing was creamy. It was colorful with red beans and white eggs and green celery. Grandma Betty served it every Christmas from 1970 until 1984. She made it the day before. Walk into Grandma Helen's Birmingham kitchen in December 1970. She's making fried okra for Christmas dinner. She sliced fresh okra into rounds and soaked them in buttermilk. She dredged them in cornmeal mixed with salt and pepper. She fried them in hot oil until golden and crispy. She drained them on paper towels and served them hot. They tasted like crunchy cornmeal-coated vegetables. The okra was tender inside and crispy outside. The cornmeal was golden and savory. It cost about 55 cents to make, and it fed 6 people. The okra cost 30 cents, and the cornmeal cost 15 cents, and the buttermilk cost 10 cents. Fried okra was a southern delicacy that appeared at Christmas dinner. The crispy coating made okra acceptable to people who didn't like slimy okra. The cornmeal was traditional. It was crunchy and addictive. Grandma Helen served it every Christmas from 1967 until 1981. She used fresh okra. Walk into Grandma Dorothy's Sacramento kitchen in December 1972. She's making macaroni salad for Christmas dinner. She cooked elbow macaroni until tender and drained it. She mixed it with diced celery and diced red bell pepper and chopped hard-boiled eggs and sweet pickle relish. She made a dressing with mayonnaise and vinegar and sugar and dry mustard. She poured the dressing over the salad and stirred until everything was coated. She refrigerated it overnight. It tasted like creamy pasta salad with crunchy vegetables. The macaroni was tender, the celery was crisp. The pickles added tanginess. It cost about 50 cents to make, and it fed 12 people. The macaroni cost 15 cents, and the eggs cost 15 cents, and the mayo cost 10 cents. Macaroni salad was a picnic food that became a Christmas side dish. The cold pasta was refreshing. The mayo dressing was creamy. It was colorful with red peppers and green pickles and yellow eggs. Grandma Dorothy served it every Christmas from 1969 until 1983. The cold pasta was refreshing. The mayo dressing was creamy. It was colorful with red peppers and green pickles and yellow eggs. Grandma Dorothy served it every Christmas from 1969 until 1983. She made it the day before. Walk into Grandma Ruth's Atlanta kitchen in December 1974. She's making orange slice sweet potatoes for Christmas dinner. She boiled sweet potatoes until almost tender and sliced them thick. She arranged them in a baking dish and topped each slice with a half slice of fresh orange. She sprinkled them with brown sugar and cinnamon. She baked them until the sweet potatoes were soft and the oranges were caramelized. They came out sweet and citrusy and beautiful. They tasted like sweet potatoes mixed with fresh orange. The combination was bright and festive. The orange slices looked decorative. It cost about 55 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The sweet potatoes cost 30 cents, and the oranges cost 20 cents, and the sugar cost 5 cents. Orange slice sweet potatoes was a fancy presentation that made simple sweet potatoes elegant. The fresh orange slices added brightness. The caramelized sugar made them sweet. They looked restaurant quality. Grandma Ruth served them every Christmas from 1971 until 1983. She used Valencia oranges. Walk into Grandma Betty's Pennsylvania kitchen in December 1969. She's serving bread and butter pickles for Christmas dinner. She opened a jar of homemade bread and butter pickles she had canned in the summer. She drained them and arranged them on a relish plate with olives and celery sticks. The pickles tasted sweet and tangy with dill and mustard seed. They were crunchy and cold. They cut through rich Christmas food. It cost almost nothing because she made them from garden cucumbers in August. She served them every Christmas from 1966 until 1980. Bread and butter pickles was a traditional Christmas relish that appeared on every holiday table. The sweet pickles balanced salty ham and turkey. The crunch was refreshing. They were colorful and festive on the relish plate. Grandma Betty made them from her garden cucumbers every summer and served them all winter. The tradition connected summer to winter. Walk into Grandma Helen's Vermont kitchen in December 1971. She's making applesauce for Christmas dinner. She peeled and chopped tart apples and cooked them with sugar and cinnamon and a little water until they broke down into sauce. She mashed them smooth with a potato masher. She served it warm in a bowl. It tasted like fresh cooked apples with cinnamon. It was smooth and sweet and warm. The cinnamon made it smell like Christmas. It cost about 40 cents to make, and it fed 8 people. The apples cost 30 cents, and the sugar cost 10 cents. Applesauce was a traditional side dish that appeared with pork at Christmas dinner. The sweetness balanced the salty meat. The smooth texture was comforting. Making it from scratch was easy and cheap. Grandma Helen served it every Christmas from 1968 until 1982. She used Granny Smith apples from her tree. Walk into Grandma Dorothy's Cleveland kitchen in December 1973. She's making stuffed celery for Christmas dinner. She washed celery stalks and cut them into 3-inch pieces. She mixed cream cheese with mayonnaise and Worcestershire sauce and garlic powder until smooth. She piped the mixture into the celery grooves. She sprinkled them with paprika. She arranged them on a platter. They looked elegant and colorful. They tasted like tangy cream cheese in crunchy celery. The filling was smooth and rich. The celery was crisp and fresh. The paprika added color. The piped filling looked professional. The celery was refreshing and crunchy. It was finger food and vegetable side together. Grandma Dorothy served it every Christmas from 1970 until 1984. She used a piping bag with a star tip, became embarrassed by Jell-O salads and casseroles and mayonnaise and canned vegetables. We became embarrassed by our grandmother's cooking. We wanted fresh organic vegetables prepared simply. We wanted minimal seasoning. We wanted everything to be healthy and Instagram-worthy.